Look at that mountain. The peak is also a heart monitor going flat. 5 times, that line should have ended. Which one could you have survived? The 13th of October, 1972. A Uruguayan Air Force plane carries 45 people over the Andes. Most are a rugby team, the Old Christians Club, flying to a match. The pilots make a navigational error and the aircraft comes down in the mountains. Many die in the crash. The cold and the injuries kill more. Nando Parrado lies unconscious for 3 days. The others count him as dead. Then he wakes up. They are above 11,000 feet. Home is a broken metal tube in the middle of a frozen desert, with death as a constant neighbor. Their food runs out. 8 days in, on a small transistor radio, they hear the official search has been called off. Nobody is coming, so they make a pact. If a man dies, the others may use his body to stay alive. An extreme form of organ donation, giving their bodies to their friends so their friends might live. 16 days in, an avalanche buries the fuselage and kills 8 more. Near the end, Parrado and Roberto Canessa, a second-year medical student, stitch seat covers into a sleeping bag and walk west. A Hail Mary pass in the last seconds of a game they are losing. 10 days later, they reach help. The remaining 14 are lifted out on the 22nd and 23rd of December, 72 days. Afterwards, the mountain follows them like a ghost for the rest of their lives. That team had each other. The next man had nobody looking for him at all, and a choice none of them ever faced. April 2003, Blue John Canyon, Utah. So remote a ranger described it as the end of the world, then another hour's drive. Aaron Ralston is an experienced outdoorsman, climbing alone. He lowers himself past a boulder wedged in a narrow slot. It shifts. 800 pounds of rock pins his right arm against the wall. He shouts. The silence of the canyon presses down on him like a physical weight, and nothing answers. He chips at the rock. He rigs ropes. The boulder does not move. His water supply is a timer counting down to his death, and it runs out. He drinks his own urine. 5.5 days in, he has a vision of himself with a son he has not yet had. He wants that boy. His multi-tool is a cheap imitation, and the blade is so dull he cannot break the skin with it. He trained as a mechanical engineer, so he uses what he knows about torque, throwing his weight against the boulder to snap the bones in his own forearm. Then he cuts. This is the choice the others never had to make. A chess player sacrificing the queen to win the game. The boulder was an anchor. He cut the chain. He rappels 65 feet with one arm, then walks 6 miles until other hikers find him. Ralston had days to think about it. The next survivor had no time at all. She was already falling. Christmas Eve, 1971. Lands a Flight 508 over the Peruvian Amazon. Julianne Kepkek is 17 years old. Lightning strikes the aircraft and it comes apart in midair. Julianne falls around 10,000 feet, still strapped into her row of seats. That row is thought to have spun as it fell, like a helicopter rotor or a maple seed, slowing her down. A storm updraft in the thick canopy took the rest. From above, that canopy looked to her like heads of broccoli. She wakes on the forest floor. She described the moment as being wrapped in cotton balls, completely disoriented, before the reality arrived. A broken collarbone, a deep gash in one arm, a hurt knee, concussion. In the wreckage, she finds a small bag of sweets. It is all she will eat for 11 days. Her parents were zoologists, and they had taught her this forest. Surviving it is a literacy test in the wild. She reads the water, the plants, the insects. She finds running water and follows it, because running water leads to bigger water, and bigger water leads to people. The gash in her arm fills with maggots. She pours gasoline into it, a method she had seen used on animals, and clears them out. On the 11th day, local lumberjacks find her. The worst part came later. As many as 14 other people survived the crash itself, including her mother. They died waiting to be found. Julianne was the only one who walked. 11 days alone is a long time. Multiply it by 12, then take away the ground. November 1942, the South Atlantic. A German U-boat torpedoes the British merchant ship SS Ben Lomond. Poon Lim, a Chinese steward, will be the only one of his crew to survive. He gets onto a wooden raft 8 feet by 8, a floating closet. The submarine surfaces, its crew look him over, and then they leave him there. The raft holds sparse provisions, a little food, a little water, a flashlight. When the water runs low, he collects rain. When the food is gone, he becomes an inventor. He turns a flashlight spring and a nail into fish hooks, a real MacGyver moment in the middle of an ocean. He builds a false nest out of seaweed, baits it with rotting fish, and waits for a gull to land. He is a poor swimmer. Twice a day, he ties himself to the raft and swims anyway to keep his strength. 3 separate vessels see him and do not stop. That is screaming for help in a crowded room where everyone has agreed not to hear you. 133 days, solitary confinement, with sharks below and storms above. In April 1943, Brazilian fishermen pick him up off the Brazilian coast. He had faced heavy discrimination as a Chinese sailor on British ships. Afterwards, the Royal Navy put his methods into its own survival manuals. One man surviving alone is remarkable. The last story is about a man who refused to lose even one. 1914. Sir Ernest Shackleton sails south to be the first to cross Antarctica on foot. He never sets foot on the continent. His ship, the Endurance, is caught in the pack ice of the Weddell Sea. For months she drifts, held fast. Then the ice crushes her, and she goes down. 28 men are left on the ice, on a piece of ground that shrinks and moves under them in a frozen ocean. Nobody on Earth knows where they are. Shackleton's job is now morale. He is a psychologist managing frightened men in total isolation, except that he is also their only hope of getting home. After months of drifting, they take lifeboats to Elephant Island, solid ground at last, and it is uninhabited, remote, and off every shipping route. No ship will pass it. So Shackleton takes 5 men and a lifeboat about 22 feet long, the James Caird, and sails 800 miles across the Southern Ocean. Picture an unassisted small boat crossing of an ocean, run through one continuous storm, 17 days at sea, a small navigational error, and they miss South Georgia and sail on into empty water. They hit it. They land on the wrong side, so they cross the island's mountains on foot to reach the whaling station. Then Shackleton organizes the rescue. Every man left on Elephant Island came home. All 28. One footnote still sits badly. A long-running argument about how the Endurance was built, like learning that a celebrated driver won his famous race in a car he knew had bad brakes. 5 stories. A mountain, a canyon, a jungle, an ocean, and a sheet of ice. None of these people had anything you do not have. Poon Lim could barely swim. Julianne Kepke was 17 and badly hurt. Aaron Ralston had a blunt knife from a bargain bin. What they had was one decision, then the same decision again the next morning, and again. That is why the line came back. So do one thing. Pick one of these 5 and tell me in the comments which one you honestly believe you could have walked out of. And if you like this video, subscribe for similar ones.